Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Unplugged series. Today, we're going to be talking about Oracle Recruiting Cloud and Taleo. My name is Chris Leone. I'm the Senior Vice President of Human Capital Management Development here at Oracle. And I have with me Nagaraj. I'm going to let Nagaraj introduce himself. Nagaraj?
Hello, everybody. Nagaraj Nathandla here. I'm Senior Vice President responsible for Taleo as well as Oracle Recruiting Cloud.
It has been a great pleasure to work with Nagaraj over these years. I remember back when we did the acquisition of Taleo 7 or 8 years ago, and it's been a fantastic partnership ever since. So as many of you are aware, we've built, Nagaraj's team has built a next generation Oracle Recruiting Cloud service, but many of you are still on Taleo. So the backdrop of this conversation is really going to be to understand the future direction of Taleo, where we're investing in Oracle Recruiting Cloud, and some decisions that you might have to make going forward. So let's start with the first question, Nagaraj. You ready?
Absolutely. Great to be here. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Since you're responsible for both Oracle Recruiting Cloud and Taleo, how should customers be thinking about the differences or similarities of the two?
So to start off, Oracle Recruiting Cloud is for Cloud HCM Suite customers. We purpose-built it, as you've indicated, for customers adopting the suite. Taleo has and will continue to be available for standalone recruiting customers. Now, we announced Oracle Recruiting Cloud availability in 2017 at Open World. And as part of that, we've communicated to the market, to customers. It's purpose-built with 20 plus years of learning from Taleo. We got tremendous amount of feedback from customers, and so we built it for future-proofing the investments our customers are making in Cloud HCM. And many important aspects of to highlight a few differences, we brought in to future-proof the investments. We brought in investments like campaign management, recruitment marketing, talent pools, and others to help ensure our customers simplify their ecosystem. In addition to that, leveraging the Cloud HCM and the broader platform, things like simplifying the business logic with autocomplete and validation rules, and ultimately to drive efficiency and make the self-service experience much more intuitive. So I could go on and on. There's plenty of differences. One is for suite customers, Oracle Recruiting. The other is for standalone recruiting customers, Taleo.
Yeah, it's great. I remember when we first finished the acquisition of Taleo, and we went out and did kind of a road show. And I remember the first set of questions that we got asked was, when we're going to have extremely tight integration between Taleo and our HCM cloud? When are we going to manage things like address validation when we have payroll? And what we realized was that in order to really do that at scale, and for some of our largest customers to solve all those really tight integration problems that inherently a standalone recruiting system will always have, we had to build Oracle Recruiting Cloud from scratch on our HCM platform. And so now we can happily go out and say all of the issues that you had to manage or deal with as a standalone recruiting customer have all gone away now that you're part of our HCM suite. So it was a really great strategy that we set out, and we did it purposefully. So it's worked out fantastically well. All right. The next question I get asked all the time, Nagaraj, is just about kind of the investment strategy, right? We still have thousands of Taleo customers. We're getting to thousands of Oracle Recruiting Cloud customers. So when you think about how you look at the investments in both, how does that look for you?
Well, again, it's a very simple, response in many ways. Oracle Recruiting for us is a strategic investment for a variety of reasons. One of the key reasons is it's part of the Cloud HCM suite. And many of our customers are not only adopting our Cloud HCM suite, but also the Oracle SaaS suite overall, right? So substantially, many of our net new customers are adopting the suite. So our investments in Oracle Recruiting are strategic investments from recruiting perspective. And it's to continue to enrich the experience for our customers, the suite customers. So for Taleo, our ongoing investments revolve around enabling success for our existing customers. So Over the last 3+ years, we've invested in a mobile responsive fluid UX. We've invested in LinkedIn integrations, both for candidates and for recruiters, further enhancing what we've done previously, and conversation experiences for candidates. These are just a few examples. There's a lot more investments we've done and will continue to do, but the focus is customer success of of existing customers on Taleo.
The recruiting market changed quite substantially over the last 10, 12 years from when you initially built Taleo. And one of the things I often hear from customers is Oracle Recruiting Cloud really thought about building what is now a full suite recruiting offering that includes candidate experience, that includes candidate relationship management and marketing, as well as where Taleo has traditionally been strong, the ATS component of recruiting. And so I think Oracle Recruiting Cloud, not only being tightly integrated and built on our HCM platform, supporting that full suite recruiter and recruiting experience is something that I think is substantially different. And that's one of the things that you should consider. Okay, now, question I get asked all the time is, if I'm a Taleo customer and I'm largely happy with Taleo, works in my environment, whether I have a best of breed approach or I have a legacy on-premise system, I'm not ready to move yet, what would you advise them to do with their Taleo recruiting investment?
I think so. There are many reasons for them to consider Oracle recruiting. What I would suggest, I'm just going to highlight a few. Probably the top three. First is the unified suite with Cloud HCM. Being part of that Cloud HCM suite offers substantial benefits to our customers, from a single cloud experience to unified experiences for all the end users, employees, external candidates. It's just very seamless. It simplifies the ecosystem they operate. Many of our customers operate a recruiting ecosystem that has tons of integrations, not only for converting a candidate to a new hire, but also managing the ecosystem, third-party plugins they've put in. So I think that suite experience is number one. The second is, as we talked about so far, we've future-proofed the investments with recruiting. So the design principles that went into building Oracle recruiting, the first and foremost is candidate-centric view. For customers to have a pulse on every candidate's journey, all the way from universities through retirement when they become your employees, having that pulse with the recruitment marketing tools, the campaign capabilities, to be able to engage and nurture both external and internal talent in a seamless way, I think that's a very powerful capability. The second is, we've made it talent aware. The promise of internal mobility, I think we're delivering that by ensuring the recruiting process is seamlessly woven into all the talent processes, be it learning and development, whether it's managing the career aspirations of their employees, succession planning. All of these are seamlessly woven in. And lastly, I would say, as you know, recruiting generates a lot of data. So data-driven experiences with the data it generates, it lends itself to AI and machine learning, personalization, further automation. There's many efficiencies to be derived with all of these emerging technologies that are part of our recruiting cloud. So I think we've future-proofed this for our customers as they invest and adopt. The last thing I would say, it's great to have all of this, but we also make it easy for our customers to adopt Oracle recruiting with a transition program that hundreds of customers are already benefiting from. We've made Oracle recruiting available for 12 months for customers to learn, educate themselves, to configure, test, and finally adopt as they transition away. And we've also enabled a pool of partners across the globe. No matter where the customers are, they can take advantage of the richness of the experience that these partners have that are ready to help them anytime the customers are to adopt. So I think there's a lot of reasons for customers to start thinking about Oracle recruiting today.
We say this all the time about how we look at the strategy of our individual modules versus our HCM suite as a whole. And what we say, and I think it's best seen in what we've done in Oracle Recruiting Cloud, is we want to be best of breed. So we want to have the best capabilities. We want to be competitive and be the best in the market in Oracle Recruiting, but we also want to have the power of what it means to be part of a suite. And now as you said, as we derive so much more data, we can use that data to help in internal mobility scenarios and the things that you talked about, and being talent aware. And those things make us best of breed, but also allow us to be best of suite, which I think customers that have matured really are looking for. So I think that's a fantastic answer, Nagaraj. Now, the question we always get asked, and we've been doing this for years, is how long can customers stay on Taleo? And like we do with the Applications Unlimited and continued investment, we're not going to give a date, because as soon as you give a date, that's the sign that they say, oh. So how long can realistically customers stay and continue to use Taleo?
I think we've always said this. When we announced Oracle Recruiting Cloud at Open World in 2017, since then we've been saying this to customers. They can continue to use Taleo so long, till such time they're transform their business and adopt our Cloud HCM, Core HR. So, we, as you said, we haven't announced any date, but we want them to be successful. What we want to highlight is really there's tremendous amount of benefit that our customers deriving out of Oracle Recruiting. So we want them to learn from those experiences. And I think another thing I would say right now, during these COVID times, the challenge, many of our customers are viewing this as an opportunity. They're rebranding themselves. They're delivering digital experiences for all their constituents. It could be their customers, it could be their candidates, it could be their employees. So I think there's a phenomenal opportunity for them to rebuild, to transform their brand for the future. And we hope to think that Oracle Recruiting can play a significant part in that.
Oracle Recruiting Cloud is part of our HCM suite. That's where we see the future of where customers need to be. That's our investment. That's where our strategic value is bets are going to be placed. We believe a suite will win, and that's where we're investing. However, we recognize that Taleo is a great solution for many customers today and into the future, and we'll continue to invest to make customers successful. And we have no plans in place to do anything with Taleo as a standalone recruiting solution for the customers that deploy today. So that's how we do it, but I think you said it perfectly. Okay, now some exciting things. You have driven probably the most fastest growing component of our suite, which is Oracle Recruiting Cloud. And we've both been excited to see the customers, large, medium, and small, that have adopted it and have gone live. What can you tell us? Give us a few customer names, some statistics about how the success is going with Oracle Recruiting Cloud.
Thank you for prefacing the question with we've seen a lot of success with Oracle Recruiting. Hundreds of customers literally have already activated. We talked about the transition program earlier. They've already activated the transition program. Many of them have already adopted. They're live across a variety of segments of industries across the globe, deploying across tens of countries across the globe. So we not only scale up, but we also scale down in terms of the size and scale of customers and their operations. So we've got some of the largest entities on the globe: JP Morgan, UW Health, Hearst Communications, many customers that have been successful with a variety of Core HR and Taleo historically. They've adopted the full suite. Some customers have gone one day, they just flipped the switch and they adopted the full suite. Others have paced themselves based on their journey and their timing and their internal mechanics. These are some of the largest entities. We've got TrueBlue, Equity Residential. Across the globe, we have in other parts of the globe, Cotton, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and a few others that have come on board. So I could just, again, with names, I could go on and on. We've got different industry segments across every part of the globe, customers that have adopted Oracle Recruiting from Taleo. So, I think we see tremendous tailwind as more and more customers every quarter, every year, as the product itself has evolved with even more capabilities than Taleo, we see customers look at this as an opportunity to simplify their ecosystem and adopt.
We set out with two design partners, and the question which to help us build Oracle Recruiting Cloud to meet the needs of some of the most complex Taleo customers. And when we took two that were the most complex, we had JP Morgan Chase as a design partner, and we had Marriott as a design partner. And JP Morgan Chase is live, and Marriott will be live in the next 45 days. But we fulfilled all of their requirements, plus what they had with Taleo, and they've been able to retire third-party systems like Smashfly and Yellow and some of those components that we just didn't have as part of Taleo. So the question that I get asked, and we can both confidently say, is when will Oracle Recruiting Cloud have all the features of Taleo? Well, you shouldn't think of it that way, but we've already had our two most complex customers be able to move and fulfill all the requirements, plus retire other systems to move to Taleo. And there's hundreds of others that have moved from Taleo to Oracle Recruiting Cloud. So it's ready today, and will meet what you need now and other requirements that you weren't able to fulfill with Taleo. So super proud of you and the team for getting to that state. Okay, last question. Now that we know many customers are moving, we've seen many Taleo customers move, what should they be considering and thinking, whether they're moving off of Taleo or maybe they're moving off of a different recruiting system? Maybe it's PeopleSoft, or maybe it's a standalone best-of-breed vendor. What should they consider as part of their move to Oracle Recruiting Cloud, as well as the rest of the HCM suite?
I think one of the things that we consistently see, we get asked by customers, prospects, if it's not from one of our existing recruiting solutions, it's all about, I think it's just human nature. They look at what they've got today. Can I do exactly the same thing, in Oracle Recruiting? And we always, we urge them, and our advice to them is think differently. Don't look for like feature capabilities. Take a couple of steps back. Think about how you want to modernize your recruiting function. And incorporate as part of that the benefits of Oracle Recruiting being part of the suite, and how it can simplify many of the functions and the ecosystem with all the things you just talked about. We brought in feature sets that are part of third-party plugins into Taleo today. So probably the most important thing is don't expect like for like. And there is a good reason. We went through a lot of thought process. We looked at the feature sets used in Taleo by a vast majority of customers, and there's always a long tail. Those long tail features, it's hard to sustain and maintain. And not that we have no interest in enabling success for our customers, but to ensure that we're future-proofing, we also brought in AI and machine learning and other experiences, which allows them to accomplish the same things differently with different set of technologies. So I think probably the most important one to reiterate is don't expect like for like. Take a step back, reimagine, rethink, think differently in how you adopt and reshape your talent acquisition function is probably the best advice I can give customers.
That's great. And I would just say recruiting is a strategic investment for us. We want to be and have the best recruiting capability with Oracle Recruiting Cloud. I joke with Nagaraj a little bit, but he has one of the largest development teams focused directly on Oracle Recruiting Cloud because it's such a strategic part of our portfolio. We want to be the best and have the best capabilities there, and we're investing with research and development dollars to get there. And you've seen us not only close the gap, but surpass what Taleo has done in a matter of years. And we're only just going even faster every single release. So congratulations, great work. And hopefully you enjoyed this Unplugged version, a little update on what's happening with Taleo and our investment there, and our strategic part of our portfolio, Oracle Recruiting Cloud. So thank you very much. Thank you, Nagaraj, for joining me today.
Thank you, Chris.